Thank you very much. There are two or three things that I want to thank you for, and we as a group would want to thank you for. One is the Angela Merkel quote, "Dreams are nothing needs to stay the way it is. Dreams are possible, and we can learn from science." So that's the role of imagination that science brings to us, which as a non-scientist, I had never kind of associated with science before. But that's a huge contribution. I was interested too in your explanation of science crossing boundaries, because this is a multidisciplinary conference, and many of us are in disciplines which cross boundaries as well, and that's, I think, a very admirable reminder of what we should be doing as citizens. I'm interested too that Einstein's quote, he was reading what the Creator had in mind. That would be quite a thing to do. Doug Roach is here and he and I were colleagues in the Senate, and it sounds as if the Senate has really gone downhill since we left it. Particularly this seamless partner of the USA about nuclear weapons, a very dangerous thing to do. I'm delighted too that you filled in so much history for young people who are here, because many of us were in and are in the Science for Peace movement and continue to be and lived through much of this. But if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. So we should thank the speaker this morning for his recalling for us some of the kind of major events, turning points in history, which are not known to your generation perhaps, but which may inform you for the future. And finally, the difficulty of opposing nuclear weapons and working for disarmament. The security doctrine, which is so widespread, that's a political matter as well as others. So we need to become and be and remain politically active out of our particular disciplines so that we transcend boundaries and make our impact as we go. So thank you for all of that. A very stimulating and very good foundation for the rest of the conference. I'm going to introduce now the next speaker, M.V. Ramana, who's a physicist at the Nuclear Futures Lab and Program on Science and Global Security at Princeton University. He tells me this is not his first visit to University of Toronto. He was here in '94, invited by the Science for Peace organization, which still exists. And as I look around, there are several members of that group in the audience today. So that goes back a long way. He's interested in and gives a lot of his work to public policy and debate around this issue, peace activists and so on, the context of nuclear disarmament and climate change, a very interesting connection. I said to him, do you think that nuclear disarmament has really fallen off the public agenda? And he said, well, it's certainly lower down than it used to be. And when I said, well, the environment seems to be up there and it's not unrelated, he agreed. So I'm glad that he's put those two together and can help us realize the connection between nuclear disarmament and climate change. So with no further ado, I'm going to call on Professor Ramana to come and address us.